All right, time to get started. So, welcome everybody. We're going to continue on the same PowerApps topic that Joel Lindström covered on the stage earlier with his session about the differences between PowerApps Canvas apps and model-driven apps. And we are going to now dive deeper into a actual real-life scenario about how we are using these two technologies together in an effort to build a smooth onboarding process for our Dynamics 365 for sales customers. So I'll be talking about, first of all, what is the specific pain point that we are trying to solve for our Dynamics 365 customer engagement customers, and then the solution that we are building on top of PowerApps Canvas apps. And this is an ongoing effort for us, so I'll be sharing a bit about what we learned along the way, what was difficult, what's been good about the PowerApps experience, and then, of course, expanding a bit about what are the possibilities that we see in the Power Platform going forward. And the key message I want to deliver today is that you shouldn't really be thinking about PowerApps just something for the actual Microsoft end customers. So this is a typical scenario that we've seen here at Ignite many times, but there's really no reason why also Microsoft partners couldn't be using this as a solution that could transform their own processes. So there are so many scenarios where the PowerApps Canvas apps are a great fit, and I'd like to now share our story about what we're doing with it. But first, a quick introduction. So my name is Jukka Niiranen. Come from Helsinki, Finland, so that's 7 time zones away. I've been an MVP for 6 years now, and I originally started with the Dynamics CRM product back in 2005, but I've been walking up on that path ever since, and now it has led me to the current Power Platform that we have today at our disposal. And there are a couple of links there. You can find my writings about our CRM and Power Apps and all things Microsoft related on Twitter by following me with my handle there. Then our company. So I work at Elisa, and I'm sure most of you have never heard about the company, and that there's a good reason for it, because we mostly operate in Finland and the nearby regions. But there we are the largest telecom operator, and we are also the leading Office 365 reseller in our markets. And we're not just a traditional telco, so we don't just do communication services. We're also all in on the Microsoft Cloud applications. So we have a wide array of services that we build using the latest cloud technologies there. And what we want to do with Dynamics 365 in particular is now to make it available for our SMB customers in a scalable way, kind of the same way as we've done with Office. So continuing on that path and adopting larger share of the business applications cloud that Microsoft is providing. And if we think about now the difference between Office and Dynamics, then there's a bit of a challenge there when we offer those solutions for our SMB customers. And I mean, yes, of course, the platform itself is very powerful. You've seen lots of great examples about that at Ignite here. And of course, I mean, it's also very important for the customers that the application integrate with what the toolkit they are using already. But the problem starts to be this, that the more you tell this kind of holistic story about the whole Microsoft stack and all the things that can connect with Dynamics, then this really starts to in the minds of someone who is a business person who's looking for example, a simple sales CRM solution for their either small team or small company, then thinking about the alternatives that they are looking for there, then something that's very specific for that purpose versus then a large stack like this that is made up of so many different parts, integrates everything, then it starts to be too complex if we present it like this. So what we really need to do is define a small enough box where we can start delivering value from day one and not having the customers to actually confront this the large stack all at once in the beginning. So a quick way to get started with something that is packaged into a product and not a project that they have to take on. And then about the term onboarding, that is part of the title here. So I need to expand on that a bit because there are different types of onboarding activities that you need to be doing when you are in a area like Dynamics. And one of them is this, what happens before the go live. So this is really about onboarding the customer organization, whereas then what we typically hear about as a solution for onboarding is then the end user focused onboarding of how they should be then using the system. But it's very important in these kind of CRM scenarios to do the preparation about what we actually are trying to solve with the system. It's not always obvious, and it's not the same for all the companies. And thinking about now a scalable way for the onboarding services. So if you look at the end user side, then there's of course the existing patterns that we could be leveraging there. So taking, for example, the learning path that we have in Dynamics, or then using in many of the, Microsoft content or our own videos. There's lots of digital tools available for like making that scalable. But there's less solutions available for this, the customer organization onboarding. And that's usually then handled via face-to-face meetings and presentations, workshops where you then create documents and send emails back and forth. And if you continue the discussion for too long a time, then it starts to like generate more and more work there. So you end up discussing all the alternatives there. You find yourself in the phone calls and meetings and steering groups and thinking about additional budget, all that. So, and the worst part is that it all takes lots of time. So we are kind of delaying the time to value there by not being able to like start using the cloud applications fast enough. So that's why we started tackling this, the customer organization onboarding first, so that we can eventually then get to the other part about making it easier for the end users to actually then adopt the applications. And why did we choose then PowerApps? Well, what we needed was a digital onboarding experience that had a very clearly defined path for the customers to follow in mostly a self-service manner. So, of course, we could have built a traditional web portal for that kind of needs. So digital channels, of course, exist for that. And they're great when you know what you tell the developers to build there. But unfortunately, we didn't have that pattern available yet there. So we needed to find a way to start experimenting with this, with the onboarding paths, contents. So what should be there, what should we take away from it, what options to give and what not to even talk about. And that's really where the power of this low-code, no-code platform is very critical, because it lowers our need to actually commit to any specific feature in advance. So we have a lot more agility there to like experiment with different kinds of applications and content. And we can then also delay the development of any advanced features that would be like automating steps in that process until to a point where we know that, okay, this is how it actually is going to work. We want to automate this. So all very great features for our need in this scenario. And there's, of course, another agenda item here that we have, because we really need to be pushing also this one platform message across. Because even though the naming change has taken place like last spring, the platforms were kind of unified on branding level, then many customers still don't realize that we're actually talking about the single platform there. And if you look at the journey of how the actual platform has evolved over time, so starting from the on-prem MS CRM in 2003, then expanding to the XRM platform, going to the cloud with online, merging with CRM and ERP and 365 branding, then it's a relatively new thing, this whole Power Platform. And what we need to do here is to expose people to the larger platform as soon as possible, so that we can avoid the building the traditional CRMs that we used to do like 15 years ago with that old stack there. So that's why also it's critical to have PowerApps there in all the engagements that we do. Now, what our onboarding process then looks like in practice is that we have 4 stages on a high level there. And in the installation stage, we actually first deploy a customized sales application into the Dynamics instance there, simplified to the needs of a SMB organization and localized for the Finnish market. And then we also deploy a Power App done by us into the customer's Office 365 tenants. And then the kind of self-service stage begins. So the customers will use the Power App there to actually get familiar with what the Dynamics application can do and complete the task that we have predefined there, make choices on what should be there in the data model, what stages does their sales process have, and so on. And after that, it's then time for us to configure it based on the specification given by the customer there. And that's a manual phase that our specialist does there. So it's not automated yet, because it doesn't have to be, but it's still a way to define the sort of available box of features that you can choose from. And at launch, then that's more of the traditional then kind of end user onboarding. So of course we do trainings and have digital content there, and we need to do of course simple data imports as well there. But in short, that's how the onboarding process goes for our solution then. And what happens with the Power App is really simple. So first of all, the customers, they do the interaction there in that second phase with the Power App user interface. So they browse through the content that the app shows them and then modify these configuration options there that we present to them. And that's just an app that reads data from a SharePoint list. So nothing fancy there either. It's the same model that we've seen in other PowerApps demos here as well at Ignite. And then actually that SharePoint list becomes the task list for our specialist to then actually do the configuration into Dynamics and of course follow the best practices and other bring our value about what we know, how should the apps be customized on Dynamics side so that they are easy to use for the end customers. I have a few selected screens from our application here. So if we think about the dynamic attributes there, so what the customers can actually then change there. So those would fall under data model and process and settings. So there will be main screens like this for each of the areas there in the application. And we'll have then subscreens about this kind of wizard-based user interface. So showing that, OK, you've completed step 1, accounts. Now you should be defining the step 2, that is contacts. So one entity's content over there. And it's just in a gallery of these items from the SharePoint list there. So for example, fields from the content entity. And then the customer can then define that should we have these visible there in the system or not by the simple toggles that they can just click on, or they could even use their touch if they are using a tablet UI for managing this content over there and setting the fields that's required or not and those kind of things. If it's something more advanced, then there's a flyer menu that you can then change the names of fields or descriptions, tooltips, and options, values, and or add new custom fields there up to a limit that we offer there. So a bit like let's say the modern maker experience in the PowerApps Admin Central, but it's controlled by us, so we can simplify it more. Then there's of course the guidance for the users, so we need to have static content there as well. So here's an example then about we have content there in like HTML embedded information or the linked PDFs there, and of course links to the external support sites or communities. But then we can also very easily show up these streams of RAS content because we have the connector there in PowerApps that allows us to then display them, the content there, and even show a YouTube playlist videos there with the embedded player in the app, so they don't have to go away from the actual user interface there. So that's a quick overview of what the app looks like then. And so what have we learned actually by then building this application? So it's not something we have yet sold to paid customers. We are kind of approaching the piloting phase there. And it's been a great learning process for us. And it's been following this kind of live to learn sort of a guideline that we have at Elisa about experimenting with technologies that are sort of solutions that are outside of your comfort zone. So every individual, every team needs to be exploring these ways to actually then arrive at a new product innovations that could be working for our customers. So one of the lessons we've learned there definitely is that the Canvas apps are really flexible, especially if you come from a dynamic CRM background, which is the model-driven world. And the thing is there, though, that even though you are a experienced professional in Dynamics world, then doesn't really give you much of a head start there in the Canvas studios. So you need to reserve time for this experimentation and not thinking that you can just build it in the same speed as you see here in the actual product demos at conferences like Ignite. So reserve time for the practicing there, because you'll be a newbie there in the first time you build a Canvas app. And even though that app building will take some time, then the real difficulties are in actually defining the content and the processes that you want to then manage with the app. So when you try to digitalize these processes, then actually you will need to be planning and agreeing on so many things that those will actually define then how fast you can maybe launch this kind of a new way of working into for your customers or for internal audiences. And third thing is that, I mean, it's really a path of experimentation, and we don't really yet know that what's going to be the right fit for this kind of UIs and product approaches. So it might actually even work better for some other MS Cloud products. But it's something that we'll figure out along the way, and it's all about the kind of live-to-learn approach of experimenting to find new innovations for our products. Now, the Power Platform, of course, is it's really coming together, as we've seen in this event already. And some of the most exciting things there, from our perspective, are, first of all, that the whole solution management concept is coming together there for the PowerApps side and adopting the Dynamics way of doing things. And that's going to be a great way to lower the barrier for our Dynamics professionals to actually then get involved with developing PowerApps and Flow components in the future. Also, then the ability to actually then embed these Canvas apps within the Dynamics UI, that would actually take the whole onboarding onto the next level there. But we still need to kind of see how this feature lands, especially the licensing requirements there, because if you want to target the SMB, then the enterprise license requirement maybe doesn't provide a good fit right there. And then the third thing, really, the connectors, I think that those are the most transformative aspect here, because the way that you can then expose these other data sources inside the Canvas apps, that really takes it to a whole different level, the whole business application development with this no-code approach. So the PowerApps are not just about the UI, they're also very much about this being able to mash up the data from almost any source. So don't think about just the pixel perfect UI, but also the connector aspect of it. And finally, then, of course, I mean, this is something that will impact the partner businesses heavily. And as I mentioned, I kind of want to get the message across that you shouldn't think about the PowerApps, Canvas apps as just the kind of first-line workers tool or solving just their problems. Because really also the information workers, they do need these kinds of easy-to-use wizard experiences that take them through these processes that they do seldomly, something that they are not familiar with. So definitely there's lots of value to be captured there by building Canvas apps on top of those kind of scenarios. And then from a partner perspective, I mean, the more you can amplify the way that you've been delivering your professional services, there's of course lots of economical gains to be had from that. So moving more from like this one-to-many PowerPoint presentations into something that's more of an interactive Power App that users can interact on their own time without needing the face-to-face meetings and this in-person delivery all the time. And sometimes, of course, there's also the fact here that the platform can be too powerful. So you need to also invest time in thinking about how you can hide the complexity from the users and simplify things with the Power Apps. Because I think that PowerApps is not really about replacing your existing apps, but more about making sense of the apps you already have there. So simplifying the way that how people can access information and apps via these user interfaces. So in conclusion, once we are combining this Dynamics 365 model-driven world with the PowerApps Canvas apps, then I really think that that's going to be the rocket fuel for the digital transformation for customers and partners alike. Thank you very much for attending the session, and I'll be around here for questions if you have any.